Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It's the benevolence of this country that in such an august presence of so many beautiful minds, that even a confluence of this manner can materialize and happen so seamlessly. Thank you so much, Kanuria ji. Thank you, Manisha. Thank you to the entire family and fraternity for having me here. And thank you to each and every one of you present here for sharing the next few moments with me. I had the blessed privilege of directing a 52-part TV serial on the life of Swami Vivekananda. And during the course of research, got to hear a lot of little stories that were so inspiring. In one such incident, Swami Vivekananda called his disciples and told them, suppose I ask you to go to the Himalayas and live in the caves. Food is not a problem, but you will not have anybody else around you. You will not have contact with anyone else. You will have to stay there all by yourself. How long can you stay? So students came up with a few hours to a day, a couple of days, and the maximum was about a week. And they said, that's the maximum I can be with myself. Immediately, Swami Vivekananda asked, if you can't even be with yourself, how do you expect the world to put up with you? And that is my understanding of spirituality. The journey of knowing to be with oneself, to become so intimate with yourself that you can watch yourself, watch your thoughts, become aware of who you are, become so intimate with your physicality, with your emotions, with your value system, with exactly what is going through you. To an uninitiated, that may sound very selfish. Is spirituality all about the I? But actually, it is not, because during the process of self-introspecting, the inner cleansing begins, and suddenly the neti process happens, where you begin to realize, I'm not this body. I'm not actually this thought. I am not this emotion. I'm much more than all this. And that process brings us in touch with the transcendent, with the divine, with that spiritual force that so many of us in our own limitations are trying to elaborate and define. In actuality, spirituality is not something that can be defined, because it is the most intimate, private part of you that cannot be labeled and segmented into something that is common for all. And if that is the quality of spirituality, how can we use such a principle for nation building? And here I am, blessed to have the words of my Guru, Mahatria Ra, the founder, diviner of the path Infinitheism, where he so beautifully puts it in a nutshell. Spirituality is the quality you bring into your life. All of us aspire to be healthy, wealthy, loving, and blissful. And spirituality is the quality you bring into your life where you can be lovingly healthy, spiritually blissful, spiritually wealthy, spiritually loving. Bring in that quality of spirituality or your relationship with the transcendent to everything that you do. And that is a spiritual life. Spiritually healthy, get in touch with your body. It is the most magnificent thing ever created. I am part of a company called Maverick, and we have designed a physical literacy curriculum for schools for grades 1 to 12, where we teach children in schools how to treat their body with dignity, along with fitness aspects, hygiene, and health. And that, I believe, is a path of spirituality to health. Spiritually wealthy. Money, after all, is just a medium that has been standardized for exchange. At some point in time, people didn't want 2 goats for the cost of 4 bags of rice. And therefore, a standard medium called money was evolved by humanity. But actual wealth is creation of value. What I do should have value to society, should have something that is contributing to the larger world. So if we can bring in spirituality, or the quality of spirituality, to wealth creation, bringing in spirituality to loving, where it is not limited to I, my family, my children, my community, my nation, but to the whole of humanity, where love is something that I can experience irrespective of who or what you are or what you bring to the table. spiritually blissful, where I don't go into any relationship expecting them to fulfill me, make me happy, but rather out of my immense happiness, I am here to participate in it, to spread my joy. And those are the qualities of spirituality where as and when you become introverted, get in touch with your inner reality, you are able to percolate that into every aspect of what you do. If that is the way it is, then how do we implant that into a process of nation building for the growth of the nation? Deepak Chopra beautifully said, religion is belief in other people's experiences. Spirituality is having your own experience. So are we ready to give our nation that experience of spirituality where each one by themselves, unlike using religion, which is like the money, which is a medium of exchange, and religion become the medium of exchange of thoughts, where there is a community of people who believe in a certain thing. Spirituality is one for each and every individual. And how do we bring that into a common platform for the national growth? If you think about growth in the nation, we normally think about policies, law enforcement, defense, governance, but all that is a community-oriented thing where you'll need to trust on other people's contributions. As an individual, if we need to grow, because the collective consciousness can evolve only if each individual is willing to evolve. And if each individual has to evolve, if we can work on these 4 E's, education, employment, economy, and environment, bring in spirituality into these 4 E's. Spirituality in education. I have written a book called When Science Met God, where I have drawn parallels between scientific thoughts and philosophical truths or ideas. And this kind of a scientific thought, because today's children need to know the whys. They need their I's dotted and their T's crossed. They have a lot of questions and they need a scientific approach. They are not willing to listen to an archaic theory. Can we bring in spirituality into education so that we can build their faith? Because above all our religious precincts is the quality of faith that you bring in to your life, that there is something so much beyond all our comprehension that is capable of guiding us, of being the pole star we can follow. Bringing spirituality into economy, my Guru Mahatria would always say it is the moral responsibility of every good human being to be rich, because being rich gives you the opportunity to do so much more good for the world. Money in the hands of a bad person will go to destroying the world, whereas money in the hands of a good person will help you build this world. And if money is just the medium of exchange, the value creation you can do out of being economically helping people. So bring in spirituality into economy. Bring in spirituality into your employment, because what are you bringing to the table? It's not about pushing paper. Are you creating something for which you alone can add value? Is there competence? Mahatria would say, faith is not a substitute for competence. You have to be competent. And what are you contributing to your workplace? What are you bringing to the table? And spirituals are speaking about since morning, where you commune with the rest of the universe. And therefore, sustainability is not about an outside-in approach of a theory or a practice that is enforced by law, but something you're incapable of doing because your right hand will not poke your right eye. It is part of your very being. And therefore, with these 4 E's that we probably should start with, so that each individual can in turn have those spiritual experiences. I would like to conclude with a small narrative again from Swami Vivekananda, who was visiting a saint, and there was the morning newspaper where the amount of rainfall had been predicted in the newspaper. And the saint told Swami Vivekananda, can you read that out? And Swamiji did that. He immediately said, squeeze the paper. Let's see if rain comes out. And obviously no rain came out. That newspaper report is just a report. In order to experience the rain, you have to go out, walk into the rain and get wet. Same is the case with spirituality. We can talk, we can provide insights, we can share what has happened. But if you're not willing to take that plunge, sorry, you will not get wet. Loving you all so much. Thank you so much for having me with you.